lanes, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, da, 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 da.
Hello, I'm Jaime Bennett, and this is another episode of The Warrior Within, A New Journey. As always, we're going to be talking about a sensitive topic, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. This program is not to be used as medical advice. Please do not use this program as medical advice because we are not medical professionals. Seek professional help. Also, the opinions in this program are my opinions and my guests' opinions and our opinions only. They do not represent the opinions of Cosmos Creative Television or anyone else. You can ask questions. I just ask that you be respectful, but my guest is going to be talking about a sensitive topic, and they're going to be telling you of their personal experience with this topic. So please be kind and be considerate. My guest is very brave for coming on my program, and I'm very honored, and I appreciate her so much for being on my program. It takes a lot of courage to be on the screen, and especially what she's going to be talking about. Our topic today is agoraphobia. And if you in the audience don't understand what agoraphobia is, I'm going to give you a definition. Agoraphobia is different for everyone, so don't take this definition as being my guest's definition, because it is different and it affects people differently, and they have different symptoms. So here is an idea of what agoraphobia is, and I am reading this from the internet. It is an extreme or irrational fear of entering open or crowded places, of leaving one's own home, or being in places from which it is difficult to escape. What is the main cause of agoraphobia? Experiencing a stressful event, such as bereavement, divorce, or losing your job. A previous history of mental illnesses, such as depression, anorexia nervosa, or bulimia, alcohol misuse or drug misuse, being in an unhappy relationship or in a relationship where your partner is very controlling. My guest is going to be talking about her personal experience with agoraphobia. So without further ado, may I introduce you to a very dear close friend of mine, Madeline Moniz.
Hello. Uh-oh.
Hello.
I'm a nervous
Thank you
wreck.
so much.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. I have to say, The Warrior Within is one of my favorite shows on Cosmos because of the topics that you talk about. It speaks to me, and I could relate. So it is an honor to be here. So thank you. And with that said, I did say to myself this morning, well, what the hell did I get myself into? Because being an agoraphobic for 25 years, I've developed other phobias. And one of the other phobias I've developed is this right here, public speaking. Even though I don't know who's on, who's watching, I can't see who's there, but I do know that this is live and I do feel the eyes on me. So that scares the crap out of me, but here I am. But with that said, why I decided to go on this show is because I know that there are people um, that do suffer from agoraphobia. And yes, I will use the word suffer because agoraphobia does suck the joy out of your life. And I do have my notes right here because I am a nervous wreck. And when I get nervous, my mind goes blank. So I need to make sure that I have everything I want to say. But when agoraphobia gets untreated for too long, you do become housebound and you become reliant on others to take you, uh, whether it's grocery shopping or to your doctor's appointments. So I am hoping that people will benefit from this, whether the person is struggling with agoraphobia or they have a friend. At least, you could help understand that person and maybe be a comfort to them. Agoraphobia is basically a fear of leaving your home alone, using public transportation alone, going to the marketplace alone, driving in your car alone. Alone is the key word. It's doing things alone. And being an agoraphobic is embarrassing because you are an adult and you feel like a 25-year-old child that still needs to hold mommy's hand wherever you need to go. So you tend to avoid situations that you feel trapped in that you can escape. And like for me, I have a fear of going places that I've never been before. See, I won't travel to some place to find a new place, because I have this fear of getting lost. And now, I'm still in the state of Connecticut, and I'm still in the United States. So how the hell lost can I be? But an agoraphobic's fears, our views on things kind of get distorted, and it becomes uncomfortable. And see, now I'm getting nervous because my mind is going blank. But basically, you don't feel safe leaving outside your home, and you become a dependent, and you become reliant on others, and basically become a pain in the ass. And that I can say because I've been that pain in the ass to my mother. I've been the pain in the ass to my husband and to friends that had to uh, take me to places where I needed to go. Anyway, now I'll talk about my wonderful 25 years of being an agoraphobic. And and by the way, I did, before the show, I did tell Jamie to not to put me alone on the screen, to always be alongside me, because I have a fear of public speaking, and I still need that in certain situations. I still need that hand to hold on to, and Jamie is the perfect comfort companion. So thank you.
You're awesome.
No, you're awesome. There we go.
Oh,
But anyway, yeah, I'm a freaking nervous wreck, and the whole audience can see I'm a basket case. I'm phobic. So,
you're doing great.
but anyway, my symptoms had started in my senior year in high school. I didn't even go to my graduation because I had the what if syndrome. What if I had to go to the bathroom, or what if I got a stomach ache? And I'd be damned if I was gonna walk in front of all those people to get my diploma. My father was very disappointed in me because he wanted to go to my graduation. My mother was okay; she was understanding, and personally, she didn't care either because my mother had was agoraphobic too. I learned from the best, but agoraphobia does affect more women than it does men. I remember on my wedding day, I had my matron of honor had to give me 2 Valiums because I was a nervous wreck because I had a fear of walking down the aisle in front of all those people. Well, hell, I shouldn't have even been there in the first place. Hindsight 2020. But so my nerves get to me and I have to joke. So I know this is a serious subject, but you know, joking around gets me through this. But I was able to work. I had worked in a corporate cafeteria. Um, my husband would take me to and from work because it was on his way, so it was convenient. And after I was laid off from that job, I worked at a Greek restaurant at on the weekends, and I worked at a veterinary hospital during the week. And both those jobs were right across the street, so it was convenient. I didn't have to bother anybody to take me to work. At first, I was a little nervous and uneasy because I didn't want to have a panic attack in front of people that I didn't know. And I didn't want to, again, be embarrassed. But then I had, after living up in the Milford for 10 years, we had moved back to New Fairfield. My mom had given us her home to live in after my grandfather passed away. So she moved just right around the corner, just a stone throw away with my grandmother. So I didn't work for 8 years. I didn't have to work. I couldn't work because I couldn't. No place was close enough for me to drive myself, and I didn't want to have to rely on people to take me to work. But it was okay because at that time we only needed one income. One income was enough because we didn't have no mortgage or we didn't have no rent to pay. My mother was good to us. But staying home actually made my symptoms worse, and it it got to a point where even being home alone didn't feel safe. I started having panic attacks in my house. So when my husband would leave to go to work, as soon as he walked out the door, I would call up my mother to see if she was going to be home that day, and if she wasn't, that I would end up just tagging along to wherever she was going to go to. But that was that was not fun. But it was comfort, and it worked for me. But well, it actually didn't really work for me. It just continued to make me worse. My dry throat, excuse me. My doctor at that time saw my he was a new doctor to me, and he saw my struggles with agoraphobia. So he referred to me to a psychotherapist, which she was very nice. Um, she, I had arrangements with her, gave her permission that she could talk to my doctor, discuss whatever, because she wasn't qualified to prescribe medicine, but he was. So she worked right along with him. And after a couple of sessions with her, she had told me that my doctor had said that I was the worst case of anxiety that he has ever seen. I was a real, oof, I was a piece of work. I still am at times. But going back in my early 20s, I was referred to a psychiatrist after I had a full-blown panic attack and went straight to the emergency room. I was surprised that they didn't put me in a freaking padded room then, but it was a bad one. And but this psychiatrist was not a good match. All he wanted to do was just prescribe meds, and I was on different meds. It was trial and error, and they just made me feel worse. Just me personally, some medicines work for people. It didn't work for me, and actually, I developed a new phobia, and I still have that phobia today. I have a fear of taking pharmaceuticals because of it. But anyway, I remember my last appointment at that psychiatrist's office. He had told me that I needed to grow up. So I got up and I told him that he needed to go to hell, and I went straight out the door and never went back. It takes a while to find a good therapist, and I know being an agoraphobic and dealing with phobias, it is very sensitive subject, and you do become defensive, and you do become sensitive because like I said, agoraphobia sucks the joy out of your life. But this new therapist, she was a woman and she was great. She did cognitive therapy with me. As an agoraphobic and being one for so long, you develop your way of thinking is gets distorted. And when you have this what if syndrome, you're automatically setting yourself up for failure. When you get in the car, I used to think as I would get in the car, what if I start getting dizzy? Or what if I have a panic attack? What if? So you're setting yourself for failure. And my therapist would say, so what if you got in the car and got dizzy? You just pull to the side of the road and you just calm yourself down. She kind of helped me to try reason because an agoraphobic has irrational reasonings and we just can't reason. And she tried, but that really didn't work for me. It didn't work. It may work for others, but it didn't work for me because I've had too many years of being agoraphobic and not doing anything about it. Why didn't I do anything about it? Because I had enablers. I had my mother, my husband, and friends that would take me to wherever I needed to go. So I had no reason to get better. And even though they thought that they doing something lovingly to help me, but it enabled me. And what did help me, and okay, you're gonna think a nut job, but um, I've I've had this movie for years. My ex-husband had actually introduced me to this movie. Um, what about Bob? This movie, I think it was in 1990 or in the early 90s. I've seen this many times. This was the best therapy for me. I'm a different kind of special. I work outside the box, and because that's what works for me. But what about Bob? Um, Bill Murray was an agoraphobic, and Richard Dreyfuss played his psychiatrist. And I swear, the person that wrote this story must have been an agoraphobic because this movie was spot on. But this movie dealt with taking baby steps and exposure therapy. And Bob drove his therapist nuts. Bob became Bob became a pain in the ass to his therapist. And yeah, us agoraphobics can be a pain in the ass because we become needy. We become needy because we're not dependent. We're not independent, excuse me. We depend on others. So yeah, it could be a pain in the ass. But anyway, I remember this movie because I probably seen it about 50 times, no lie. Because whenever I would have anxiety, I always would put this movie in, and it's a comedy. It was funny, and it would make me laugh at the stupid things and my stupid thinking. Because I would look at Bob and it's like, boy, this guy is a real idiot. But it's true. I guess I'm an idiot too, but it helped. Anyway, with this new therapist that I was going to, um, my friend would always take me, would drop me off, or she would wait in the waiting room or drop me off and go on errands. And one day she had called me and she said that she was unable to take me. And that's when I decided that I needed to take control because I was divorced. I needed to start supporting myself, and so that day I had called her up and I said, "Listen, my friend." She said she can't drive me. I said, "But can we do a different kind of therapy?" I said, when my session starts, can you call me on my cell phone and can you just stay on the phone with me as I drive to your office?" And we did that several times. Her office was maybe 12, 13 minutes away. We would drive to the office and we would sit there and talk for 15 minutes about how it made me feel and so forth. And this was our session for um, quite a few times, and it worked for me. And I went back to work. I started working again for a friend's cleaning company at night, and I also started working at a deli during the week, during the daytime. And this I was doing pretty good for several years, about maybe 6 years. No panic attacks, no phobic moments. But then I started feeling weird again. I would have these explosive headaches that would make my body turn to jello, and I would feel like I was literally passing out. So, it scared the hell out of me, and I thought that my agoraphobia was coming back with a vengeance. So every month, there I was at my doctor's office, the one that thought that I was the worst case of anxiety. And I insisted that there was something wrong. I insisted, something's not right. And because of my anxiety, he dismissed me. The last thing he said to me was his diagnosis was, "I'm obese, out of shape, I'm depressed, I need a boyfriend." So once again, I got up and I told him, "You need to go to hell," and I never stepped foot in his office again. I then It's been a year since I seen any medical doctor. I was just totally done. Being phobic and extra sensitive, I just had it. But the only doctor I would see would be a chiropractor. And eventually, my chiropractor, he was retiring, so I had to go see a new chiropractor. I'm talking too much. My throat is dry.
You're doing
So
great.
I need something stronger than just water.
Bring out the vodka. I don't know.
No, actually, I don't drink. But anyway, so I started going to a new chiropractor, and he was different. He was a different chiropractor. He wouldn't crack me, twist my neck, or anything like that. And he took his time, and he was a little more personal than what I'm used to with other chiropractors. And I he would ask me personal questions, and I would tell him my history of anxiety and agoraphobia. And I told him how my agoraphobia was coming back after being several years free from it. And he's after each appointment, he saw that I was struggling with it. He saw I was exhausted, and there were several times where I had to have my mother take me to my appointments because I just couldn't drive there. So he decided to do a neurological workup on me, and he saw that there wasn't something that wasn't quite right, but he couldn't figure out what it was. So he sent me for an MRI of my brain, and yes, I'm claustrophobic. Also, had to go in that little tight squeeze tube with a helmet on my head, but I did it anyway. And in the MRI, it did reveal that I have a Chiari malformation, which is a serious neurological disorder. It's a structural defect at the base of your skull, so my brain is herniated out of my skull and into my spinal canal. So I have all these lovely symptoms from Chiari malformation, which is a great trigger for agoraphobia, and that's what was triggering my agoraphobia. So, so now that I know that my symptoms are a reality, that they are real, even though panic attacks, they are real, but I had a medical cause for the way I was feeling, and I had no control over them. But at least I knew. And one thing, a physical ailment can trigger agoraphobia. Um, uh, Vestibular function, a weak vestibular function can trigger agoraphobia. And from having Chiari malformation, I do have a weak uh, vestibular function. So also a physical ailment is also another cause for agoraphobia. I know every time I go to the grocery store, I get dizzy. Too much stimulation, sets my freaking head spinning. So grocery shopping is a challenge, but I do it anyway because I'd be damned if I'm going to become uh, dependent again, because now it's just me living alone. So don't have a choice. But when I do go shopping, I go little. I don't do a major grocery shopping. I go little by little and just do more frequent trips just to keep my symptoms at bay. I still do struggle a little bit with agoraphobia because of my illness, but I do pick up the phone, when I'm either home alone or I'm out. I do pick up the phone and call somebody when I have really bad Chiari symptoms that I just can't ride out. So sometimes when I can't ride out my symptoms, my friggin' sets me off into panic, because let me tell you something. Some of these Chiari symptoms scare the crap out of me. I don't have any control of my Chiari symptoms, but I do have control of how I react. And I'd be damned if I'm going to put myself back into that um, agoraphobia. Bad enough that Chiari sucks the life out of me. I don't need agoraphobia to suck the joy out of me too. So I don't want to be back to what I was years ago. Uh, Agoraphobia is a very complex uh, disorder. It's a complex fear, and if you wait too long, it does make treatment a lot more difficult. And so, getting help is important. And like I said, it sucked the joy out of me. I've lost friendships, and I'm laughing because I'm nervous.
You're okay.
And I don't want to cry, but
You're doing good.
one thing agoraphobia did rob me. Okay, let me gather myself.
You're doing good.
One thing agoraphobia did rob me of is becoming a mother, because I had the fear of being pregnant. So agoraphobia sucks. It does ruin your life. And that's my sucky story.
You did a really good job, Madeline.
That's so agoraphobia is very it's very serious, and anybody that suffers from that, instead of being embarrassed about it like I have, get help and do something about it.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us, Madeline. I think that,
now I gotta find my hole and bury myself. I don't want to.
No, you did an amazing job. You're so brave for being on here. Thank you very much. We appreciate you telling your story.
You inspire me, Jamie, because
Oh.
you're brave. You inspire me, and and I'm blessed that I have somebody like you as a friend. We've had
Oh,
many,
I-
one thing one thing a lot of people don't know is we've had many personal, private conversations, and you are very comfortable to talk with. You've been through your shitload yourself, so it's like you're you're very understanding, and I'm grateful that I do have you as a friend, and I'm grateful that you did give me this opportunity to speak up.
Well, I appreciate you being on my show, and I love you so much. I love all my friends, and I'm just so thankful that through the internet I got to become friends with you and a lot of incredible people. Um, I can't imagine how someone who has agoraphobia, like I don't even want to imagine it. Like I can't imagine what you go through, what you've been through, and how the pandemic made it worse. Like I couldn't even.
The pandemic did not make me worse. I was
It didn't.
the pandemic didn't affect me because I was trapped in my house for 4 years anyway, because I had my mom with Alzheimer's, and that's another story that I'm not going to
Yeah.
get into, because then
No.
I'll have a mental breakdown. But I have to say one thing: being an agoraphobic for 25 years, and one of the biggest fears of an agoraphobic is the doing stuff alone, and
Mm.
the fear of the panic attacks. And right now with me, right now I live alone. I am alone. Family's gone, and I have Chiari malformation, which brings so I basically am living my worst nightmare of, especially being an agoraphobic. Agoraphobics, they fear, having a panic attack. They fear of being alone, and here I am alone, having these friggin' Chiari symptoms that are way worse than having a panic attack, way worse than being an agoraphobic. It's like, but I'm surviving. So if I can survive all this crap, anybody that's struggling with any kind of phobias and whatnot, there is hope.
Yeah.
But
Like you thank you so much for telling us your story. You did an amazing job. Like, this takes a lot of courage, and you all need to applaud Madeline for being on this show because it takes a lot of courage. I get nervous.
especially having having public speaking phobia. Like I said, even though I don't see, I know I'm live, and I know there must be a dozen eyes staring at me, and I could feel them, and it scares the hell out of me.
You have friends in the audience, and
I know.
they very much love you and appreciate you, and they are showing you a lot of support. So
So now
thank
you
you
all
all
know
for
why I'm
that.
a whack job.
No, you're perfect just the way you are. You're perfect. Like, you did an amazing job, and like I said, it takes a lot of courage to do this. Like, I get nervous. I've done this for 20 plus years. Like, a lot of you don't know that, but I have a degree in this, and I have done interviews with celebrities, and I still get nervous after doing
See,
this for 20
I'm a,
plus
I'm
years.
okay. I'm okay.
She's okay. You
I'm glad
professional.
it's
You are a
over.
professional. You did
I
good.
could rest now. I could rest now.
You're doing great. If
Unless
there's
somebody has
any
questions.
um if there's anybody who has questions, like if we don't get to around to answering them right now because poor Madeline's nervous and she's taking a breather, she can
I'm
come
good.
back to the stream and answer them later. But yeah, it takes a lot of courage to do public speaking. It takes a lot of courage to do a show like this, and I have nothing but respect for you, Madeline, because you did an amazing job, and we really appreciate and respect you, especially here at
When
the Warrior Within.
when I was in high school, I took a speech class
Oh,
to help
goodness.
me with the public. I took a speech class, and I got a D minus, because every time it was my turn to come up, I would get my books, and I was out the door.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. I didn't get brave enough to do like public speaking until I became a radio DJ, and that kind of got me out of my shell a little bit. But I still get very nervous being in front of people. Like I can pretend that there's not an audience here, but I know that they're here, and I still get nervous. It still happens, but I'm a human being. We're human. So, you know.
No, now I'm not nervous anymore. I can rest.
You did a good
It's
job.
over. It's over. It's done.
Bob Ross is asking for you to tell the audience about your beautiful birds, your Picasso and your birds.
Well, right now they are downstairs. I had to go upstairs. I was all set up downstairs, but I had to go upstairs because they were freaking screaming earlier. But yes, you know what? They are here. I love my birds. They are a handful. They are company, but they're screaming, and the noise, and with my Chiari malformation, it just they drive me nuts. But I love them. I've had Picasso for 28 years, and I've had Red for 19 years. So they're
wow.
part of my family, part of my heart. So I will just deal with the craziness. But yes, they are wonderful.
What I'm going to tell you all, and I haven't talked about this a whole lot, but I have had anxiety attacks. I used to have major anxiety attacks when I was in high school, and the sad part is like I couldn't be in a crowded room. I couldn't eat my lunch in front of people because it always made me extremely nervous. And I would have an anxiety attack. I would feel like I was having a heart attack, like I couldn't breathe. And so this is the really sad, disturbing part. I would go eat my lunch in the restroom. I would close myself in a stall and like eat my lunch in the restroom because I had so much anxiety and I was terrified. This is the first time that I am ever mentioning that on any of my shows to anyone. So see, even I have anxiety, and even I've been through, things like that, hardly anybody knows. But now you all know that Jaime has anxiety attacks sometimes. Sometimes I still have them. Sometimes I have a hard time breathing. Like I will wake up from my sleep trying to catch my breath because I'm having an anxiety attack while I'm sleeping. I used to have night terrors where I would scream in my sleep. So like, yeah, I have those things too. So I really appreciate you telling us your story and being brave.
If I had to eat my lunch in a restaurant stall, I would probably throw up, and then
Yeah.
that would trigger
Yeah.
that would trigger my
Oh no.
throwing up.
But see, I mean, we're all human. We all have things that, we all have our triggers. We all have our things in life that we've been through. But what helps you with your nervousness? Like I know you do artwork, and Madeline is an amazing artist. She has gifted so many people her artwork, and I'm grateful that I have some Madeline artwork here at my house that I can look at. I love her artwork. Is that part of, you dealing with your nervousness? Like, do you do artwork to help you with it?
Yeah, I actually I deal with I started doing, I didn't even know I could draw, whatever, but I do get more involved in my artwork because I like to keep my mind. I was told, especially living alone and being alone and having an illness that does keep me from going places. I don't not go places because of fear. I don't go places because my freaking head wants to explode. but I do the art to keep my brain busy, because if I just sit around like a vegetable, I don't want to end up with Alzheimer's either.
Yeah.
And that's one thing my mom's neurologist said, because I questioned him whether what was my risk of getting it, and Alzheimer's is more. I'm reading Bob's comment. Oh,
Bob.
stop it, Bob! Damn it, Bob! But Alzheimer's is more environmental, and what my mom's neurologist told me to do is get out and exercise, which I do walk. And he says, keep your mind busy, keep your brain working. Don't, sitting around and watching TV is not gonna, that's just gonna destroy it. And that's basically why. And I enjoy it, and I do enjoy making art for people. I very rarely keep a piece for myself. I just, what's the point of just keeping it hidden? Nobody comes and visits me or whatever. Nobody's gonna see it. So I just, I enjoy giving my art.
We all appreciate it. I appreciate it. I love the artwork that you sent me. It's wonderful. Maddie's also a really good baker too. She bakes.
And I got Jamie's piece of art. This is
Ember.
No. So I'm not getting enough. I don't want to see it. I don't want to show my backside, so I'm not.
You're doing good.
I'm not getting up, but that's Jamie. Jamie made me a cat doll from scratch. The body, the head, she molded it all special for me.
Oh, well, I like to gift my artwork, like you. But
and you do amazing work.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's different. I like different.
Oh,
I like different, and I just love the paints that you use, the 3D, and so.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Bob Ross says this community just never ceases to amaze him. The creativity, the compassion, the camaraderie. If I can pronounce, my darn dialect gets in my way sometimes. Sometimes I mispronounce things. I am known as the show host that mispronounces things all the time. It's all good. It's all good.
And I talk like a Yankee.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Jasmine's here. Aloha. Thank you for being here. Bob Ross is here. Lordy's here. Thank you for being here. Julie Leineke's here. MM's here. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. Thank you all for being here. Some of the names are popping up as Facebook user. So whoever that is, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody who's watching. I think Renee was in here earlier. And like I said, if I've missed anyone, I'm not meaning to. I apologize. I'm just reading the names as they scroll up my screen. But yes, mental health is very, very important. Yep. Lordy says mental health is very important, and yes, it is. Like you said earlier, finding the right therapist is very, very important. Having friends that you can trust and talk to about anything with, without judgment, that's extremely important. I know that I've, like Madeline, she's a really good friend, and I talk to her about some of my stresses. That's important to have in life. It helps you maneuver through life that much easier. Like, it helps you get through things a lot easier. And, there are so many people in this community that I really, really appreciate, because they've helped me through a lot of stressful times, a lot of trauma. M. Farwell is one of them. Madeline's one of them. Renee, Bob Ross, like, I've had several friends to help me through very trying situations, and I really appreciate it. So, you also said a key word in your story earlier, agoraphobia is the fear of going out alone, of being alone. And doing your artwork, that's probably helpful with getting your mind off of that. It's very, very brave for someone to, have this and to deal with this. Like, it takes a lot out of a person.
And I get new friends through my artwork. People, make comments on my artwork, and every day I meet different people, different friends. I've had somebody on my friends list for probably 2 years, and I just started to get to know him. And Lordy, yeah, I love him. One wonderful friend. I've gotten to know him, and it's nice, especially when you live alone and you have, an illness, and you have these phobias, whatever, which my phobias are under control, especially considering my health issue. But it's nice to have a trustworthy friend to talk to. And I, just from the community, I keep on getting more and more wonderful friends that are easy to talk to. So thank you, Jamie, for being wonderful. Thank you, Lordy, for being wonderful. January, Julie, all these. If I forget to name anybody, sorry, because I'm a nervous wreck.
You're doing great.
Everybody in the community is wonderful.
And we have a lot of great people. We have a lot of great people, and they're especially great for putting up with me and my craziness. You never know what to expect out of Jamie. Like, you just never know. I appreciate you all being here and supporting the Warrior Within, because without guests like Madeline, without audience members like you all, there wouldn't be a Warrior Within. And I think that, the Warrior Within is very, very important, because, we do talk about topics like agoraphobia. It needs to be brought to the forefront. That's my favorite word, the forefront. There are a lot of topics that don't get brought to the forefront, and people are unaware that it's an issue. People are unaware that these things are happening. And what I wanted to do on this season of The Warrior Within is to have guests like Madeline, who are brave enough to share their stories and who are brave enough to talk about things that really need to be talked about. They really need to be discussed. I'm going to try to do more of these interviews. I'm going to be having another interview next time on The Warrior Within, so you all need to look forward to that. Be checking for the posters. I will send out posters like I always do. And yeah, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We appreciate you being here and watching.
Cheers to badasses.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. Well, I get stage fright all the time. Like, I haven't played guitar. I have not played guitar. Oh my gosh. I haven't played guitar in like in front of anybody for like, I want to say a while. It's been at least 12 years, I would guess. It's been a good long while since I've played guitar in front of people. So maybe Madeline coming on here and telling her story is going to make me brave enough to jump back in and playing guitar in front of people. That's something I probably ought to do. Yes, there you go. Grab the bull by the horns. But yes. Wow, you got so many people sharing love in the audience. I love it. I love it so much. Thank you all for support.
Love you all right back. I'll have to go back and check out the comments.
Yeah, it takes me a couple of days to get back to the comments, because this isn't the only job that I do. I have a lot of pets that I take care of. I work. every day of the week. And I do productions that aren't live. Like, I'm constantly doing something. Like, I don't think that I take a moment to breathe very often. Like, a lot of people think that I just do this and that this is what I do, but there's a lot of things that I do behind the scenes that people don't know about. And I'm not one to brag or talk about it. I will not, I won't do that, but I do a lot of things behind the scenes. But this show is not about me. It's about my awesome friend Madeline. This show is never about me. It's about my friend Madeline.
It's about you too, Jamie, because without you, this wouldn't be a show. And this is an amazing show. And like I said, this is one of my favorite shows on Cosmos, because this show speaks to me. And
thank you. I appreciate it.
If it wasn't for you, I would not be brave enough to be up here.
Well, I appreciate you.
You've talked about topics, and because I have plenty of topics to talk about, but you've talked about topics, and some of the topics I have, hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
No.
It when I first brought this show to Renee and Dennis, I asked them, I said, is there anything that's off the table? And they said, no, talk about anything and everything that you want to talk about. And I said, okay, because I have a lot of extremely sensitive topics that I want to talk about. I do this show because I want to try to help people. I want to try to make sure that people are aware of many different sensitive topics, like, people need to be aware of these topics, and they need to be aware that they exist, and maybe, having you tell your story, they can kind of see things from your perspective, and they can better understand, these topics. They can better understand and better maneuver their environment and maneuver their surroundings, and maybe be a little bit more aware of how they word things, aware of how they act out in society. But thank you very much for being on my show. Thank you to all the audience members. We love and respect you all so much. And like I said, if you have any questions, just because the show's over, don't hesitate in asking, because we can always go back to the comments later and answer your questions. But we are not medical professionals, so please don't use the show as medical guidelines. But thank you all so much for watching. And till the next time, love, hugs, blessings, and lots of glitter. As I always say lots of glitter. That's and chocolate cake and puppies for Madeline. All righty.
Ice in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la.